What's up, guys? Today is the day J-Lo gets dismantled for paint. Taking the front fender off, taking the rear fender off. I already have another tank, so all that's getting picked up. Well, I'm dropping it off to my buddy. He's gonna paint it for me. I'm excited. And then next week, reassembly. But yeah, so in today's video, I'm basically gonna throw in the ignition coil relocation that I did kind of as part of last video, but would have ran too long. I didn't want to bore you guys with too much stuff, so it's not too much work to take the fenders off. Real simple. So I'll just take them off, and then I'll go over the ignition coil relocation with you that I did. I like it. Then the new spark plug wires will be here on Saturday too, so then that'll all be finished. Paint will get done. Bike goes back together next week, and then doesn't need to come apart anymore. Then I'm just waiting on my passenger seat to come in, and then I might do bars, but cool.
3/16. Yeah, something like that. Whatever. So I don't know if it's, I don't want to strip these out. I don't use my favorite thing to strip out, apparently. So be careful. Locking the screen with many there. I have a ratchet. I'm not sure why I'm not using one of them, but okay. Alright, I cut this thing off now. And sneak this guy out. Oh yeah, so that's not too bad. Do that. Got a extension here. Broke that already, because that's how there goes shit.
So yeah, that was pretty simple. Just unbolted the bolts that look like this, that go through down here, but they're in over here. Undid them, unplugged the wiring harness. That cleans that up. So the next thing I gotta do is pull this thing off here, which there's just from the other side, there's an Allen key bolt down there. And then from up top here, it looks like I undo that bolt there, and I should be able to swing that thing right out of there. And then that'll clean that up. As far as this is the wiring extension they gave me, so it'll run here, it'll run up the tank some, and then it'll pop down there, down the right where it's supposed to be. I'll slide that heat covering down probably that way a little bit more, but other than that, that's what it's been so far. There's lock washers and such on the back of here. Now they did send kind of a piece that has these ears on it, but I mean, I don't see why that would be necessary unless you had a coil that mounts differently than this does. So I guess some coils, maybe on the Dynas, they mount to the sides instead of this through bolt. So you would use that part. I didn't use that because not going to put a part I don't need on the bike, you know, weight savings. airflow. Yeah. But cool, relocated, more airflow, cooler bike temps. I can dig it. All right, so basically taking the fenders off for paint and stuff. I'm gonna take off the seat, right? And then I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna undo the fender struts. I'm gonna take everything off, and then I'm gonna just separate the struts from the fender while they're off the bike. It's pretty much the easiest kind of way. I mean, because to take these covers off and release the fender, to release the fender, I gotta take all these bolts out anyways, because this is a cover there's a strut on the inside of there that those just cover. They only come to here, but you gotta take everything off anyways. So I'm just gonna pop them off there, separate it off the bike. And the front fenders, real simple. You know, you just got 2 Allen keys up here with a nut on the back, and that's ready. And then I have a new tank chilling over here. So then all I gotta do, once it's painted, bring everything back, pop this tank off. Well, basically I'll disconnect everything, and then I gotta take the fuel pump and everything out and put in that tank. And then I'll probably swap out my gas caps and fuel gauge to something different. But I'm excited. You guys will see the color pretty soon. It should be, it should be in the next couple videos, everything going back together. I'm excited. Hope you guys like it. All right, so since I relocated my foot pegs up here versus down here, basically the other bolt that secures this strut to the frame is inside my foot peg, basically the same way. It's hooked up down there. And the way I converted this was I cut these down so that I had the same amount of thread engagement with this bolt as I did with the original bolt that was for here. So it was easy, it was cool. It definitely makes my bike different than someone else's, and it's not too uncomfortable for the passenger. It actually usually puts the average girl's kneecap right in a good spot for me to rest my arm. So I get an armrest, and they don't get their boots all over my exhaust and melt it. But basically, these are just like it normally would be. I just got to pop this circlip off here, which you could use snap ring pliers. I find it's pretty easy. It's hard to do with one hand. I don't want to lose the thing, but you just take a small screwdriver like this. You get in here, you just spread them apart, and you keep a finger on top. So when that thing pops loose, it doesn't shoot across the wherever you're working and you lose it, because they're not fun. But yeah, so I pop this out, and then basically the same bolt is right in there. Now, these are our Torx bits, and I guess if you have like a longer Torx bit shaft, the better. This thing just fits in here just because the way this is shouldered, it just fits inside here just enough to grab the head to loosen that up. But that's all it really takes to pop off the rear strut and fender assembly on most bikes. And it's usually pretty easy to do versus trying to take the fender off, because some fenders actually have a bolt inside of the fender in the strut. So you usually end up fighting with that. So I think it's easier to just pop this off. The only thing I'll have to do is snip wires, because I hardwired this tail light in there because I wanted to ride it, but I went out and I bought this Deutsch connector that's waterproof and basically mimics the same OEM connectors that I'm going to hook up. So then in the future, if I need to pop the rear fender off for any reason, it'll just be a connection to undo instead of cut and rewire each time. And that's also going to come in handy when I pull my tank off. I'm going to splice into my front turn signal feeds, so then I can hook up rear turn signals, since the way that these turn signals ran on the original bike, the feed for the turn signals is also activated by the brake switch, since the Softail Slim has 2 running lights that are tail lights and turn signals, and not an independent tail brake light. So that was kind of interesting. And then I think I came up with a good idea for my front turn signals. So I think I'm going to have front and rear turn signals for the first time in several years. So I look forward to that too. The only kind of annoying part is this bolt is kind of locked by this tool bag, not the one holding the camera, this thing here, this tool bag. So basically I need to loosen this screw up, swing it down out of the way. Now there's a little nut on the back here. It's kind of a real pain in the ass to get to, but that's the hardest part about popping this rear fender off for me. Sunglasses in there getting all scratched up, but that's basically what I keep in there. I keep a puck for putting my bike on the dirt or anything. So as you might have noticed, my bike doesn't really lean too much, so I need to kind of stabilize it sometimes. Sometimes it's even better when I do park it on something soft, so I can sink the kickstand into the dirt a little bit and give it a little bit more lean. But cool, I'll swing this down and pop this off, and then I'll basically pop this cover and these struts off this fender, and that's that. You good for a ride, buddy? Come on. Come on. Hop on up. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. All right, guys. I hope you guys liked today's video. I just got my spark plugs in, or my spark plug wires in for the ignition coil relocation. But yeah, that's it. J-Lo is, she's naked right now. Got her tins off. My buddy's got them. He's got them prepped. I'm pretty sure he's spraying down coats of paint now, so tune in for the next episode, probably Wednesday, and you'll find out the color I went with. It's gonna pop. I think the color I picked is fucking mint, but it's not mint. My buddy's bike is mint. You'll have to see. You'll see. Just subscribe, like, and then next video comment and tell me if you like or hate the color. But me and Toretto, he's gonna go meet his cousins, have a puppy play date, going to my brother's for dinner. So see you guys Wednesday. Have a good one.